before Revit. Okay, we're going to do this building right here from inside out. It may look familiar. This is the building we did throughout the duration of our course, our Digital Communication 2 course. Okay, there's not a lot of explanation going to happen in this review. Okay, we did the explanation in the previous course. Okay, so this is really strictly doing it. There are 22 steps for this particular assignment, or at least for today, this particular step. There are 22 parts to it, and again, we're going to do it all together. Okay? Yes. But it must come from the U.S. Imperial folder. So please now, we're going to start a new model. Let's go ahead and click on New. Click on Browse. Okay, and you can see by default, it brings you into the Canadian folder. So let's take a step back into the template folder and go into the U.S. Imperial. All right. So in there, we're going to use the default template. Go ahead and open that and click OK. Okay. Remember, you must use the appropriate either U.S. Imperial for Imperial drawings or Canadian default metric for metric drawings. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, let's just confirm the units. There's various ways we can confirm the units. If I went right away, I can already see the scale right here is already set to Imperial. Okay, if we were in a metric file, that would be obviously a metric scale. So that's one way of checking. Another way of checking is if I click onto the wall command and I look at all my wall assemblies, you can see they're all in Imperial. So that is a telltale sign that you are definitely in an Imperial file. Or the best way to do it is go under the Manage tab and click on Project Units. Okay, and you can clearly see that the length type is feet and inches. Okay, so that is ultimately the units that we will be working with. Okay, so we could just all we have to do is just confirm it. Okay, so cancel out. All right. The next thing is let's go ahead and put in our levels. Okay, so let's everyone press escape. Make sure you've exited any command, and let's go to the east elevation. You see there are two levels there that we're going to modify. Level 1, let's rename it as ground floor. So single click it twice, put your cap locks on. And rename the corresponding view in your project browser. Please say yes to that. All right, that's going to remain at the 0 elevation. The upper floor, which is level 2, go ahead and rename that upper floor. Again, let's change the corresponding view's name. Now that one is going to be at 12 feet. Okay, so single click the distance of 10 feet and revise it to 12 feet. Next, we're going to create another level here. Okay, so those are the two default levels that we just modified. We're now going to create a new one. And this one is going to be called roof, and it's going to be at 24 high. So it's going to be 12 feet above the upper floor. So please go under your architecture tab, go to your datum panel, and there's the command level. Click onto that, align it with the tail end, and again, it'll be 12 feet, exactly 12 feet above the upper floor. Align it with the head end. Press escape a few times and revise the name to roof. And then lastly, we've got one more level called the parapet level. That's going to be 2 feet above the roof level, which means it'll be at 26 feet. Okay, but this parapet level, you can see here in my notes, okay, will not have a corresponding floor plan. Okay, so again, it will not have a corresponding floor plan. So let's zoom out. Click onto your level command again, and it's going to be 2 feet above the roof level. Oh, before I do that, sorry, press escape if you already picked that point. Okay, let's go to the level command again. I forgot to do this. We're not making a corresponding view, so we need to make sure that we turn off the make plan view button here. Okay, so turn off the make plan view button, and now we could go ahead, align it with the tail end at 2 feet from it. Okay, align it here. Press escape a few times, and you can now see there is no level 4, okay, in our project browser. Okay, and you can see that it is now black, meaning that there is no corresponding floor plan for this level. Okay, let's rename it. Parapet level. And let's add an elbow to this, okay, because you can see it's directly on top of my roof that I can't read. So we're going to add an elbow to it. So select the level line, and then you'll see a little jog right here, right under the word parapet. It says add elbow. Okay, so click onto that. And then now we could drag our label a bit higher. Any questions? All right, next, we're going to add a grid now. Okay, so levels are grids that appear in your elevation. Grids are grids that appear on your floor plan. So let's go to our ground floor. Okay, and let's create this. We're going to create, this is our structural grid right here, 1, 2, and 3, and A, B, and C, and they're all 25 feet apart. Okay. So let's start with the vertical ones, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so to create our grids, just beside the level command here is your grid command. Okay, let's create a vertical one first. Okay, make sure it's at a 90-degree angle. Okay, then 25 feet to the right of that. Okay, so there's 25. Again, align it. And make sure once you've picked that second point, just confirm that it says 25. Okay, if it does say 25, if it doesn't say 25, sorry, go in there and make your revision. Okay. Do another one. Okay, now we can do the vertical one, or sorry, the horizontal one. So I'll start here. Now, before I do the other vertical ones, I'm going to press escape a few times, and I'm going to revise that 4 to an 8, so that when I create the other ones, they will be B, C, and so on. So there's my first horizontal one, and then go ahead now and create the other ones. Again, they will be 25 feet apart. Please make sure to align them and confirm it once you're done. Please make sure to confirm that it does say 25. Okay. Now let's go ahead and turn the bubbles on all sides. Okay, so select one at a time, select each of your levels, or sorry, each of your grids, and turn on your bubbles on the adjacent side. Lastly, I'm going to take my elevation markers and I'm just going to position them so that's centered on the grid here. It's not crucial, but just to make it look good. Okay, I'm going to drag. Remember, there's two parts to this, so make sure you put a window around both parts before you drag it. let's go ahead and do a save as on this. Okay, so please go to File, Save it as a project. Put it in your week 1 folder. Okay, and please call it assignment 1. So there are the first 5 steps when starting any new file. The next couple of, or the next from step 6 to 14, here's what we're going to generate. So it's all about creating walls. All right, we're going to create walls that are connected to levels. We're going to create unconnected walls. We'll create different wall types. We'll put in some sweeps and reveals, and we'll put in a curtain wall as well. Okay, so that's the next 8 steps. All right, so step 6 involves creating a stone wall. Okay, so we're going to take a brick wall and convert it into a stone wall. So let's go into our wall command. And I'd like you to choose the wall type exterior brick on metal stud. Again, exterior brick on metal stud. We're going to edit and duplicate that. So let's click on edit type, duplicate, and let's call it exterior stone on metal stud. Take the number 2 off the end of it. Exterior stone on metal stud, and all we're going to do here is we're going to do 2 things. We're going to replace the brick with natural stone, and we're also going to change the airspace. Okay, we're going to make the airspace a bit smaller. All right, so now let's click OK. Let's click on Edit Structure. Change your brick to stone. Okay, so right in here, there's your material browser. Go into your material browser and search for stone. Okay. So there is no current stone in my project, so I'm going to go down here to my Autodesk library. By the way, if you don't have your Autodesk library showing, you need to make sure that you expand it. Okay, so right here, okay, there's an expand button to expand your Autodesk library, and look for stone natural. Okay, so scroll down, there it is, stone natural. Okay, I'm going to drag and drop that into my project, and then I'm going to pick it. The only other minor change I'm going to make is I'm going to change the airspace from 3 inches to 1 inch. All right, let's start creating our wall. So now let's click OK. OK again. You'll now see that we're using the exterior stone on metal stud, and let's set its properties. The first thing we're going to do is select a location line. I want the structural member to reside along the grid lines. So for our location line, I want you to choose core center line. Okay, the center or the core of our structural member, which in this case is the 6-inch metal stud, will align with our grid lines. All right, it's going to start on the ground floor with a 0 base offset, and it's going to be connected to this upper floor. Okay, we're going to connect it to the upper floor, so that wall is 12 feet tall. Okay. Let's set our detail level to fine. And let's start this wall at grid line C3. Okay, so we're going to start the wall right here. Okay, zoom in a little bit and just confirm. You can see it right there. My stud is along that grid line. But just confirm that the exterior, see those 3 lines, those 3 thin lines inside, that's the exterior portion. Please make sure that it's facing downwards. Okay, if yours is not facing downwards, then use your space bar to flip it. Okay, so make Make sure it's facing downwards. All right, so here we go. We're going to go from C3 to C1 to B1, okay, to B2, and then we're going to go up 15 feet. So you could either find 15 feet or you could type it in. Then we're going to go across 6 feet. Again, you could find 6 feet or you could type it in. And then we're going to go vertically until we're flush with grid line A. We're going to go across to grid line A3. And then we're going to finish it off by going back to the start, pick grid line C3. And when you pick anywhere within that confinement of that grid line C3, you see it should clean up nicely for you. Okay. View it in 3D. And set your visual style to realistic, okay? Just because I want to make sure, zoom in, I want to make sure that all your stone is facing outwards. If for some reason any of your walls is facing the wrong direction, select it now and press your space bar to flip it, okay? If you did it correctly at the beginning, they should all be facing the proper direction. Any questions so far? All right, next, we're going to create a half wall. Okay, we're going to use that same stone wall, but we're going to create a 3-foot high half wall. So let's go back to our ground floor, and it's going to reside right in this area here. Okay, we're going to put a 3-foot high stone wall, and above that, in our next step, we're going to put a curtain wall on top of that. Okay, so let's go. Let's go to our wall command. We're going to keep the same properties except for the top constraint. We're going to make an unconnected 3-foot high wall. Okay, so please choose unconnected as our top constraint and type in 3 feet under the unconnected category. All right, here's where I want you to start. We're going to start where grid line 1 meets the exterior wall. So here's grid line 1 where it meets the exterior wall. Please pick there. Okay. Please make sure that your wall is facing outward so that it should be flush with the existing vertical wall below it. If your wall is in like this, again, press your space bar to flip it out. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go all up vertically until we hit the object tracking line right there. There's an object tracking line that's coming from that parallel wall, coming from its core center line. Perfect. That's where I want you to pick. And then we'll turn the corner, we'll go horizontally until we hit this wall. Press escape once you're done. Okay. So again, let's view that in 3D. Confirm again that your exterior is along the exterior of this wall. Your stone is along the exterior. There's our 3-foot high. Now, directly above that 3-foot high wall, we're going to add a curtain wall. Okay, and remember, by adding a traditional curtain wall, it's a 3-step process. Add the glass, add the grid lines, add the mullions to those grid lines. So let's get back to the ground floor level. Okay, and let's create a curtain wall right in the middle of our 3-foot high stone wall. So please go to your wall command and choose curtain wall 1. Curtain wall 1. Now, I have no intentions of revising this wall, so I'm not going to edit and duplicate it. Okay, this wall is just a glass wall. Okay, so let's go and start this along the midpoint of this wall. So you should find the midline of this wall where it intersects the existing wall. We'll start it right there. Now, please make sure that your curtain wall is offset outwards. Okay, if your curtain wall is offset inwards like this, again, use your space bar, make sure it's flipped outwards. Okay, now we're going to go all the way until I find the midline. Do not find, there are 2 tracking lines here. You can see there's a tracking line for the center line of that wall. but then there's also a tracking line for the midline. That's what I want to find. Okay, that midline of this wall. Pick there. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. Okay, let me undo that. Anyone know what I forgot to do? Yeah, I forgot to change the base offset, so it was giving me a warning that that wall was intersecting this wall. So let me try that again. I go to my wall, curtain wall. Here's what I forgot to change. Okay, so it's going to start on the ground floor, but it's going to have a base offset of 3 feet. And then it's going to go to the second floor, or the upper floor. Okay, so again, this curtain wall, okay, base constraint ground floor, base offset 3 feet, so it's above, it starts above that stone wall to the second floor, or the upper floor. Okay, so now let's go ahead, find the midline, make sure it's offset outwards, again, find the midline, okay, and then finish it horizontally along this wall. Press escape, go to your 3D view, okay, and there's my class. Alright, now let's put our grid lines in. Put our grid lines in, we'll start with this wall here, which is our north elevation, so let's go to our north elevation. Okay, set your visual style to consistent colors, so we could actually see there's the curtain wall right there in blue. Okay. Again, make sure you're on your north elevation. Okay, change your visual style to consistent colors. Okay, zoom in. All right, here's what we're gonna do. At every 4 feet, we're gonna start measuring. Here's the corner. Okay, so for every 4 feet, we're gonna put a vertical grid line. Okay, so the command is right here under your architecture tab, under the build panel, curtain grid. Place your mouse along the top edge and look for, we'll start at 4 feet. Okay, now, if for some reason you put it down, okay, and you made a mistake, it's not at 4 feet, you do have the option right here to make sure that you've set it at 4 feet. Okay, so that's at 4 feet. I'll go across again. Set that to 4 feet. One more time. Now, once you get past the halfway mark, it may be almost impossible to locate 4 feet because it's starting to measure from the opposite side. Okay, so whatever it is, if you can't get as close to 4 feet as possible, put it down and then make that change. Okay, so for the left half, it'll be almost impossible to find 4 feet. So you're gonna have to put it down and then revise it after the fact. Once you create the vertical one, let's now go horizontally. Go along the vertical edge, and again, we'll space this out at 4 feet. Again, if you can't quite find it, put it down and revise it out. Press escape. And let's now go to our east elevation. I'm sorry, west elevation. There it is, okay. Go to your west elevation, set your visual style to consistent colors, and do the same thing. Okay, 4 feet from here's the corner. Okay, so we'll measure, we'll put a curtain grid. Okay, again, 4 feet. Create your vertical ones or your horizontal ones as well. So right there, I've got my curtain wall as well as my curtain grid. Remember, this is just grid lines. We haven't applied the mullions. The metal framework is next. Once we apply grid lines, we can now apply the metal framework, which are called, again, mullions. Give everybody a few more minutes to catch up. All right, so let's go. Right beside the curtain grid command is your mullion command. Okay, remember, there are various types of mullions you could choose from. If there's a particular one you want that's not there, simply again, select one, edit type, duplicate, and revise. Right? We're just going to use the common 2.5 by 5-inch rectangular mullion. So use the 2.5 by 5-inch rectangular mullion, and let's apply it to all grid lines. Okay, so click on all grid lines and apply it to both sets of grid lines. Press escape a few times when you're done. And then lastly, we need to revise the corner mullion. You can see currently the corner mullion has two rectangular mullions intersecting each other. Okay, so we need to add an L-shaped corner mullion there. So here's what you need to do. Select the corner mullions by placing a solid window, not a crossing window. Don't go right to left, don't do that. Okay, do a solid window from left to right that encompasses all those mullions. Once you've selected all those mullions, go ahead into your properties panel and revise it to an L-shaped corner mullion 5 by 5. It will ask you, what do you want to do with the older ones, the old mullions? Simply delete them. Okay, so right there, okay, is our 5 by 5 corner mullion. Again, remember, you can always revise any of the sizes. You can always create different sizes, okay, for your mullions and your corner mullions. Any questions on creating the curtain wall? All right, let's go ahead and do a quick save, please. All right, next, we're going to create the upper floor. The upper floor is going to be an exterior stucco wall, okay? So let's go to our upper floor. All right, let's go into our wall command. And here's the wall type that we're going to edit, okay? It's called exterior EIFS on metal stud. Okay, so this is exterior insulated finish system. It's a panel. Okay, so EIFS on metal stud. We're going to duplicate that. So click on edit type and duplicate. Okay, and we're going to call it we'll just call it stucco on metal stud. So exterior stucco on metal stud. Click OK. Edit. Here's what we're going to do. So it's got exterior and EIFS here, but it's got no stucco on the outside. Okay, so I want to add a new layer here. So we're going to insert right here. Insert a new layer. Click on insert. It will be a finish one, so the function is not structural. It'll be a finish one. And it will be a stucco material. So we're going to go to our material browser and search for stucco. There is no stucco currently in our project, so we'll have to look down at our Autodesk library. Okay, and you should see there it is, wall texture stucco. Drag and drop that. Select it. And I'm going to change the color of it. Okay, so I'm going to change the color of that stucco. So right under Appearance tab, right here, here's the color. Okay, so I'm simply going to select, and don't go to Pantone because there's a bit of a glitch under with this Pantone. Your system tends to crash here. Okay, so don't go to Pantone. Just go ahead and choose a color. Okay, from the pick box here, or you could choose a basic color from here. Okay, I'm just going to revise the color slightly. And again, it doesn't matter to me what color you choose. Want to make it red, you can make it red. Okay. So I'm just going to click OK now. Click OK. There you go. And let's also add 1/2 inch for the thickness of this. Everything else will remain the same. Click OK. Click OK. And there we go. Okay. All right. Let's create, or let's set up the properties of this wall. First of all, I'm going to make it flush with the existing interior walls that I currently have on my ground floor. So for your location line, can you please choose Finish Face Interior? Finish Face Interior. Base constraint, upper floor. Base offset, please change that to 0. And top constraint, we're going to make it go all the way to the parapet level. Okay. So this wall, you should see, has an unconnected height of 14 feet. All right. Now, here is what my upper floor is going to look like. It's a rectangle. Okay, so instead of using the line command and having to trace along all 4 sides, I'm just going to use my rectangle tool now. So go into your draw panel. Right here is my rectangle tool. And simply go from inside corner to inside corner. Please make sure you're choosing the inside corner of the stone wall, not the inside corner of the curtain wall. So pick the inside corner of the stone wall. Oh, did I not get into my rectangle command? Sorry. Okay. Pick rectangle right here. Okay, make sure that it is facing outwards. Okay, if yours looks like this, use your space bar and make sure it's flipped outwards. Okay, and then pick this corner right, the inside corner right. Press escape. View it in 3D. There is our exterior stucco wall on the second. Any questions? All right. That stucco wall, we're going to add reveals and sweeps to them. Okay, so you can see them right here. We're going to add an EIFS decorative cornice to the top, and we're going to also add 1 reveal at the 4-foot line. Okay, so here we go. Please select any one of these stucco walls, doesn't matter which one. Click on Edit Type. Click on Edit Structure. And here, down here is your sweep command, sweep and reveal. And you can see they're disabled because we have to first preview a section. So the button right here, preview. And the view we want to preview is a section view. Now that we're previewing the section view, you can now see your sweep command is enabled. Click on sweep. Add a sweep. Okay, so there's our sweep right there. Now you'll notice that there are some sweeps that are profiles that are available, but the one I want to use, we have to load in. Okay, so click Load Profile. All right, now we need to go to the US Imperial folder. Okay, so take a step back. Now, before we go ahead into the US Imperial folder, do me a favor, because we're going to go into this folder quite a bit in this course. So I want you to take that US Imperial folder and please drag it into your favorites. Okay, I already did it yesterday. Okay, but just drag it into your favorites there. Okay, so that we don't have to keep going back. We can just click onto the US Imperial folder from here. Okay, so go into your US Imperial folder, look under Profiles, and go to Wall Profiles. Go under Wall. Okay, and the one we're choosing is the Cornice EIFS. Load that in. Once it's loaded, you should now be able to see it in your profile. Right here, Cornice EIFS. And apply it. Okay, so you could see it. There it is. Okay, now obviously, it shouldn't be sitting on the base or on the ground. We need to move the from position. Okay, so in the column from, it says base. Please change that to top. And apply it. Okay, so it's now on the top of the wall. Perfect. Let's click OK. Alright, so there's our sweep. Now we're going to add a reveal. Okay, click on reveal. Click on add. And for this profile, we're just going to use the size of one brick. Okay, so you can see there's a reveal brick course, one brick. Okay. In our Digital Communication 3 class, we will show you eventually how to create your own profiles. Okay, not just for this, but for other elements. Okay, so click on your one brick. Okay, apply it so you could see it. There it is. We're going to raise it off the ground. I want it to be 4 feet off the ground. Apply it, and you can see there it is, 4 feet off the ground. And I'm going to add one more. Okay, so I want another one at 8 feet off the ground. So to do that, just select this one and duplicate it. And then just change the distance to 8 feet. Okay, and apply it. So we have one at 4 feet, and we also have one at 8 feet. All right, so there's our sweeps and reveals on our stucco wall. Let's click OK. Let's click OK. One more time. Okay, and there they are. All right, let's do a quick save. That's step 14. Step 15 to 21, here's what we're going to do. So now we're going to apply some walls, or some windows and doors here. Okay, so we're going to put in your traditional windows. We're going to put in some doors. We're going to put in a storefront wall. Okay, and we're going to put in a curtain wall, or curtain door in our curtain wall. Okay, so that's the next 6 steps. All right, let's start by putting in some simple windows. Okay, so let's go to our ground floor. Okay, and along this north wall right here, along grid line A, we will be placing a few windows there. Okay. Now, in step 15 right here, we're going to add these windows to this north wall. And you can see that these windows are dimensioned from the interior face to the opening. Okay, so we're going to have to change our temporary dimensions and how they behave. Okay, because traditionally, when I want to put in a window, you can see that it's measuring from the middle of the wall to the middle of the window. Okay, that's not what I want. Okay, so before we put in our windows, let's go under the Manage tab. Under Additional Settings, Temporary Dimensions. Okay, and you please change the walls to faces and the door and windows to openings. Let's click OK. So now if I put in a window, you can see it's now dimensioning okay, from the interior wall to the interior, or to the interior wall to the opening of the window, okay? So, it says here to put in a designer series clad wood double hung fixed unit, and that's one of the files that I gave you to download today, okay? So let's go under architecture, let's click on window, and let's click on load family, okay? Please go to your, wherever you saved your files, under week 1, okay? You should see design series clad wood double hung fixed. Alright, load that in. It is an older file, so it'll take a minute here to revise it, to upgrade it. Yeah.
I'm not able to extract the files. Unless I'm doing it wrong, but it should click extract that way.
是有点 OK 吗？搂进来了吗？没搂进来。我再试一下。
Alright. Okay, so designer series clad wood double hung, and let's make it 2 feet from the inside. There, 2 feet. And then put another one. 2 feet. Oh, I forgot. Sill height was supposed to be set at 2 feet. So no problem. Select it. Press Control, select the other one. And revise the sill height. Right here. That's the height of the window off the ground. Okay, please revise that to 2 feet. Yes. So right here, you'll see it's 2 feet from the inside. Now, I am actually going to revise this. I decided I wanted 3 feet from the outside corner. So again, instead of it being 2 feet from the inside corner, I wanted 3 feet from the outside corner. So here's what I want you to do. Select that window. And now we have to move our temporary dimension so that it is now referencing the outside edge. Okay, so drag that temporary dimension line, drag it so that it's aligned to the outside edge, and revise your dimension to 3 feet. Do the same thing to the other side. Select it. Now here's another way you can move this. Instead of dragging it, simply pick it. Okay, pick it and it will find the exterior and change that to 3 feet. So if I view it in 3D, okay, there's my window there. Alright, step 16 is we're going to put in one window. It's going to be, here it is, okay, AW400 C14 casement. Again, these are another one of the windows I gave you. Alright, we're going to put it at the bottom here, 2 feet away, and then we're going to array it. Okay, we're going to copy it 8 times at a distance of 6 feet. Okay, so let's go back to our ground floor. And let's zoom down here into our C3 corner. Let's click on window, load family, and it's the AW400 C14 casement window. Again, it's the AW400. Okay? Load that in. The sill height is going to be 2'6". So let's change the sill height first to 2'6". Okay, and it will be 2 feet from the inside corner. 2 feet from the inside corner. All right, now we're going to copy this. Okay, we're going to copy it 8 times at a displacement distance of 6 feet. Okay, so we are going to do an array. So to do an array, let's first select that window. Now go into your modify panel, and right here is your array command. Okay. Click on array, and right here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type in the amount of objects in total. That includes the original one. So we're going to have 8 in total. Now let's choose a base point, and it doesn't matter where you pick your base point. Okay, for argument's sake, I'm going to pick the midpoint of the window, and then I'm going to go up. Make sure you're going 90 degrees, and our displacement distance is going to be 6 feet. So let's make sure you're going 90 degrees and type 6 feet. Okay, confirm that 8 is the appropriate amount. Take a look. Yeah, I don't think we could fit one more. There's not enough space, so let's leave it at 8. So press enter to accept 8. There we go. If I look at that in 3D, there's all our windows. Any questions? All right, let's do a quick save on that. Next, on the second floor, we're going to add our storefront curtain wall. Okay, so it's going to look very much like the curtain walls that we did on the lower floor. The only difference is it's a one-step process. Okay, we don't have to add grid lines and then add mullions to this. Okay, all right. So let's go to our upper floor. Okay, and let's go. It's going to be directly above our curtain wall on the lower level. Okay, it's going to be right here. Let's take a moment and turn off our underlay. Let's turn off our ground floor underlay so that we don't get confused with the curtain wall that already exists. So go to your properties panel. Under underlay, please set your underlay to none. Okay. All right, let's create the storefront curtain wall. So please go under wall. Remember, it's not a window. It looks like a window. It acts like a window, but it's actually called a storefront curtain wall. So let's go into the wall command. And let's look directly below, below curtain wall, you'll see storefront. All right. We're going to edit this one, so we will better edit and duplicate it. So click on edit type, duplicate. Okay, I'm just going to call it my storefront. Click OK. All right, and here's the changes we're going to make. We're going to mimic the same thing we did on the bottom floor, which was 4 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet. Okay, so we're going to go fixed distance of 4 feet. And we'll do that for both the vertical grid as well as the horizontal grid. Fixed distance of 4 feet per door. All right. And we're going to use the same mullions, the 2.5 by 5 inch mullions that we did on the first floor. We'll utilize those for all our mullions. All right, so now we're ready. Let's click OK. And let's set now our properties. Okay, so scroll up, let's set our properties. We're gonna start on the base, or sorry, our base constraint is gonna be upper floor, and it's gonna have a base offset of 1 foot. Okay, so let me show you what that number implies. Look here, okay, that's this distance right here. Okay, I don't want my window to start right up against the bottom of this wall. I want it to be 1 foot up. Okay, and then the top constraint is going to be my roof level, but it's going to go down. I'm going to change the top offset. It's going to go down 4 feet. Okay, so it's not going to, here's my roof level, somewhere around here. It's going to go down 4 feet below that. Okay, so again, base constraint, upper floor, base offset 1 foot. Top constraint, please choose roof. And then top offset minus 4 feet. The first one along this north wall, let's go ahead and center it. Look for the midline. And it's going to be 2 feet from the inside corner again. Okay, so go 2 feet from the inside corner. Please make sure that your curtain wall, again, is offset outwards. If yours is this way, flip it. Offset outwards, and this wall is going to be 26 feet, or this window is going to be 26 feet long. So type 26. Press escape once. Okay, and then we're going to do another one along the midline of this, and again, it'll be 2 feet away from the corner. And this one, again, make sure you can see it's offset on the wrong side here. I'm going to press my space bar, offset it outwards. And let's make this one 18 feet. Okay, let's view it in 3D. So there you go. Our storefront curtain walls. Any questions? Chugging along here. All right, good. Let's do a save and take your first 10-minute break. In our door. Okay, so let's go back to the ground floor level. The first door we're going to put in is along the north side here. Okay, this east wall on the north part of the building. Alright. And in step 18, it asks you to put in the Architect Series clad wood outswing French single fixed unit. That's a really long one. Alright, so that's one of the files that I gave you. Okay, so let's go under door. So architecture door. Load family. Alright, and it's this first one. Architect Series clad wood outswing French single. Forget that. Okay, load that in. And I want you to make it centered on this wall. Okay, so to make it centered, it should just snap onto, and you know it's centered when, okay, when the two flanking dimensions are the same. Okay, so you can see right here, my two dimensions are equal. I know it's now centered. Pick there. Okay. So if I view it in 3D, and there's my 3D. I also want to put another door inside here. Okay, so go back to your ground floor. On this wall right here, I want to put a commercial double door right here. Okay, so let's go back to our door command. Load family. And let's get into our US Imperial folder. Okay, so scroll down into your favorites where we saved it. Click onto your US Imperial folder. And then go under doors. Commercial. And it's the second one. Door exterior double to light. Okay? Looks like that. Okay? We're going to choose a, so so click on open. We're going to choose the 6 foot by 7 foot. Okay, so 72 by 84. 6 foot by 7 foot door. Let's load that in. And again, center it along this wall. So make sure it's faced outwards. And again, center it along this wall. Check to make sure that your dimensions are equal. Press escape once you're done. Okay, so if I view it in 3D, and there's my door right in there. The next big step we're going to do, step 19, is we're going to add a curtain wall, or sorry, a door in our curtain wall. Okay, so this is going to be a 3-step process here. We first will have to eliminate the stone wall underneath. We're going to have to then bring our curtain wall into that opening. And then we're going to have to load in our door and replace the panel with a curtain wall door. Okay, so go to our ground floor level. Okay, and it's right in here. These 2 panels right here are the ones that are going to be converted, okay, to a door. So the first thing I want to do is I want to split the stone wall underneath it. Okay, so zoom in and watch where I split this. Very important that you make sure you split it in the right spot. All right, so go to your Modify tab. In your Modify panel, right here is my Split Element tool. All right, so watch where along this mullion, I want it to split, okay, on the left side of this mullion. Okay, so make sure, again, go along the edge of the stone wall and split it on the left side of this mullion. Okay, there it is. And then I also want you to split it on the right side of this mullion. There it is. Okay? Press escape a few times, and there's my stone wall right there that has been split and deleted. So now if I view, okay, so now if I view it in 3D, okay, there's my opening right there. Now, I have to now project or extend my curtain wall into that opening. Okay, so I'm going to edit the profile of that wall. So let's do that from our north elevation. Let's go back to our north elevation. Okay, there's the opening right there. I want you to select the curtain wall. Okay, not the mullion. Okay, don't select the mullion like that. Okay, you need to select the outer edge of the curtain wall, and you know I selected it when that curtain wall symbol shows up. Okay, once I've selected the curtain wall, we're now going to edit the profile. Go to your ribbons and click on Edit Profile. You should now see this magenta line now. We're going to delete the bottom one, and we're going to revise it. Delete the bottom line. Use your line tool. Start from this endpoint. Zoom in and trace now. We're going to go to this endpoint. This endpoint. And we're now going dipping into that opening now. Just like that. And make sure you close it. Make sure it goes, it starts at that end and ends right at that end. Okay, and then finish it. It will give you a warning that it's telling you that this mullion right here, okay, needs to be deleted, and that's fine because I would have had to delete it anyways. Okay, so delete that mullion. Okay, and there's my rectangular panel there that I will then replace with my storefront or with my curtain wall door. All right. Now, we've got to load in that curtain wall door. Okay, now here's where people could get confused, because at no time when putting in this curtain wall door do I ever enter the door command. Please remember that. Even when I'm loading in the door, I don't go under, I don't do this. I don't go architecture door, load family. It's not going to come in that way. Okay, so for this, you need to go under the insert tab and click load family from there. Don't go under door and load family. Go under insert, load family. Okay, and take a step back under doors, and you'll see it right here. Door, curtain wall, single glass. Door, curtain wall, single glass. It has to be a curtain wall door. You can't use any other door other than the ones that say curtain wall on. Okay? So let's select that one. Load it in. Once I've loaded it in, here's how you place it in. You have to now select the panel. Okay, this panel here, and then replace it. Don't go to architecture, door, and then expect to find that curtain wall, because you're not going to find it here. Okay, at no time should you enter the door command. Okay, so here's how you, remember how you select the panel? Place your mouse on the edge of one of these mullions, and press tab until you see that panel highlight. Okay, I have to press it 4 or 5 times. There it is. And I pick it. Okay, once I pick that panel, now I can go into my properties, and there's the door right there. Door, curtain wall, single glass. There you go. Okay, do the same thing to the opposite, to the adjacent door. Have it until you find it. Here it is. Pick it. And override it or replace it. Now, you will notice that the hinge is on the wrong side. Okay, no problem. Space bar it. Okay, and now there's my door. If I go to my ground floor level, you can see there's my door. Okay, it acts just like any ordinary door. If I pick it, you can see I can flip it both side to side or up and down. Go to my 3D view. Okay. Now, for the 3D view, it doesn't show hardware. Okay, in these later versions of Revit, okay, hardware is a separate component. Okay, does yours show? Okay, mine doesn't. Okay. Anyways, okay, we will be putting in. You can see the other door here has no hardware. We'll be putting in the hardware at a different time. All right, so there is our curtain wall door, and again, just as a note, remember, you never enter the door command when putting in a curtain wall door, because we're really replacing the panel with a curtain wall door. All right, so that's step 20. Step 21, we're going to create floors. Okay, so let's start with our ground floor level. Okay, let's create a floor slab. All right. So let's go into the architecture tab. Let's click onto the floor command. And let's use the 3-inch lightweight concrete on 2-inch metal deck. Okay, so it's the first floor slab. Edit type. Duplicate, because we're gonna add a wood flooring on top of that. So let's click duplicate. Let's just call it my floor. Edit the structure. And I want you to click on insert. So click on insert, create a new layer, and move it all the way to the top. Okay, we want it to be above the concrete. Okay. This is a finished one. And let's look for some wood flooring. So there you go. I've got an exact right here called wood flooring. I'll use that. Okay. let's give that one 1/2 inch thickness, please. So you should see that my floor slab is exactly 5.5 inches thick. Okay, important number to know in a few minutes. Okay, so now click OK. Click OK. All right. Now let's go ahead and trace around the entire perimeter of my building. And instead of using the line command for this, because I've got walls all the way around, I'm going to use my pick walls method. So use your pick walls method and pick the inside face of the wall all the way around. Make sure that when you get into this stone area or this atrium area, make sure that don't pick the curtain wall. Okay, pick the stone wall underneath it. Okay, pick the stone wall underneath it. Now you'll notice when we get to this point, there is no stone wall to choose. So at the end, I will have to draw a line there. Okay, so I'm just going to keep continuing and I'll bypass that area there. I'll keep continuing. Okay, right there. See, I'm all the way around. Now I'm going to go back, use my line tool. I'll go back and go from endpoint to endpoint. Press escape. Okay, so now just go into the corners, make sure they're all nice and clean. There's no overlaps anywhere. Okay, everything looks good, especially where you have walls that connect. There may be places that it doesn't connect, but that looks fine. Okay, now let's click finish. All right, so if I look at that in 3D, okay, there it is. Upper floor. Now for this upper floor, I want to see the ground floor underlay because this area is open to below, but there's a wall here that I want to make sure that I place my floor slab over. Okay, so go to your properties panel here and turn on your underlay, your base underlay, set it back to ground floor. Okay, so that I can see that wall. So this area here is going to be open to below. Okay, so my floor slab for my upper floor is going to look like this. Okay, we're going to go around the perimeter. Okay, but then we're going to use our line tool and we're going to trace along there. So I'm going to use the pick walls method all the way around for 1, 2, and 3, and 4 walls. But then I'm going to use my line tool to trace around here, and then I have to trim up the corners. Okay, a bit of work here. All right, so let's go back to our floor command. We'll use the same my floor. Let's use pick walls, and let's go around the perimeter. Okay, so start here, 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 and here. Let's now zoom into this opening, use our line tool, and trace around that wall here and here, all the way to there. Press escape. And now we have to do a corner trim here and a corner trim here. Okay, so there under our modify panel, there's my corner trim command. And remember, select the portions of the line you want to keep. So I want to keep this portion of the line, and obviously I want to keep this portion. Okay, so there's my corner. I want to keep this portion of the line and this portion. And again, there's my trim corner. Press escape and click finish. Once you click finish, there's going to be a very important question that it's going to ask you, and you must make sure you answer it correctly. Click finish. It's going to say, would you like walls that go to this floor's level to attach to its bottom? Because we have exterior walls attaching to this, we need to say don't attach. Don't attach. If you say attach, your exterior walls are going to go downwards the thickness of the floor slab, and you're going to have a 5.5 inch opening all the way around your exterior. Okay, so say don't attach. Alright, so now go ahead and view that in 3D. Good, there's my, now, you'll notice there is one more issue that we have, however. Because we said don't attach, you can see that we now have interference between these two walls and our floor slab. So what we have to do here is we have to select these two walls, so hold down your control key, and select these two walls, and we're going to have to drop them down by the thickness of the floor slab, which if you recall is now 5.5 inches. So we have to select those two walls and change its top offset right here to minus 5.5 inches, so that there is no longer any interference between those two the two walls and the floor slab. Okay, and you can now see there's no interference there. But here's the problem. Look at your exterior on your building here. Look, there's a little opening there. Okay, reason being is that wall there that we may change the height to, okay, is also the edge of it is along the exterior. Anybody know how we're going to solve this problem? Anyone remember? All right. No. Wall joints. Okay, ownership of that corner. I want to give the ownership of that corner to this wall here, not this wall. So this command is under the Modify panel. Under Geometry, click onto the Modify. Under Geometry, there it is, Wall Joints. And we can do it from this view. We don't have to go to our floor plan to do this. Okay, so click on Wall Joints. And then I want you to take your mouse and place it at the bottom intersection of these two walls. And you'll see a rectangle will appear. Okay, so put it at the bottom of the intersection of those two walls, pick it, and then click Next. And I want you to click Next until you see that gap disappear. Okay, so on the first one I clicked Next, nothing happened, because what happened there on that first Next, the stone wall took ownership of that corner. Okay, so or the short 3-foot high wall took ownership. Click Next again. There you go. And now that wall has ownership of that corner, so you can see that gap is no longer there. Press Escape. Let's check the other side. Check this side here. Okay, now that looks good. Yeah, that wall has ownership, so we're fine on this side. Okay, there you go. There's our floor slabs. Okay. Now, please don't be alarmed if you look at the bottom. It seems like we're missing a floor slab right in here and here. Okay, remember, our foundation walls will go in here. Okay, so this is space for our foundation wall. Okay. All right, let's do a quick save. Wow, we're fast. All right, we got one more step and we're calling it a day. All right, so we're going to add one more thing here. We're going to put I call it an interior wall, but half of it is interior, half of it is exterior. We're going to use this wall eventually to house our emergency exit stairwell. Okay, so it's just going to be a generic 12-inch masonry wall for now. Okay, it's going to extend past the roof line by 10 feet, and it's going to have an interior dimension of 15 feet by 9 feet. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go to our ground floor level. Okay, let's zoom into this lower left corner of the building right here. Let's go under Architecture, Wall, and let's choose the generic 12-inch wall. Is that what I said? Yeah, generic 12-inch masonry wall. Okay, so let's look for the generic 12-inch masonry wall right here. Generic 12-inch masonry. Okay, let's use finish face exterior. Finish face exterior. Okay, it's going to start on my ground floor with a 0 offset. and it's going to end, top constraint, it's going to end at my roof level, but it's going to surpass the roof level by 10 feet. All right, let's use our rectangle command. Start it at this bottom interior corner. Stretch it out. Now, you'll notice that the dimensions that are showing there are from center of the wall. Okay? So we can't use that right now because we want to be inside dimension. Will be 9 feet by 15 feet. So let's just put it down. We'll change the dimension after. Don't worry about the size of it now. Just put it down. Press escape. Okay, let's start with this wall. Pick this wall first and set that dimension to 9. Then select this wall and set that interior dimension to 15. There we go. All right, let's view that in 3D. Eventually, we'll be putting a door on there. Once we put the roof slab, we'll put a door there so it leads to the roof level. Well, that didn't take long at all. All right, this is our first step. So please save this. Okay, we should probably call it, let's change the name. Save as project. Let's call this one assignment 1-step 1. That's what I'd like you to deposit into the assignment 1 Dropbox before you leave today. Any questions? All right, that's all I've got. Submit it, and I'll see you all next week.